Today, I want to talk about trusting the process. It kind of has its way of unfolding naturally. Um, but at the same time, though, it could be chaotic at points. It could be fearful, lonely, painful, but it also has its moments, its bright sides. Okay, can't have one without the other. Can't have light without dark. Can't have happiness without sadness. So it's part of the process, and you gotta learn how to trust that. One of the things that I've learned along the way is you gotta learn to be yourself. And in order to do that, you gotta learn who you are. Okay? So you gotta start asking yourself questions. Who am I? What do I want? What do I really believe in? What's my worth? Am I really happy? What am I so mad at? How did I get here in this point in my life? What happened to my dreams? What happened to my goals? When you start asking questions, you start understanding is that it's those questions that unfold the reality of your truth. Okay? In order before you can start planting seeds, you gotta understand how the soil works. Okay? So that's kind of a way to kind of get to know the soil you're planting seeds in. It starts moving things in certain directions so you can plant those seeds where they need to go. It's like these videos, for instance. You know, I'm a perfectionist, you know what I mean? I try to do everything right. And the more I try and the more I try and the more I try to make it perfect, I understand that it's not perfect, it's not right. But it's the imperfections with it, right? That teach me, that show me. Like, it's not about the high quality footage I can shoot. It's not about the background in back of me. I'm in my garage, by the way. It's not about all this. It's about the message. Sometimes you gotta show your imperfections with what you're trying to present in life. And in God's eyes and the universe's eyes, that's perfect for him. That's all he needs. Is for you to get the message out there. Okay? So to trust the process, you gotta understand one thing. What's promised to you. Okay? What do we know for sure? We know that at one point in our life we were born, right? We're given life. We were born. Given a name and all that, right? What's guaranteed to us? Death. We know that, right? Okay, so we know from point A to point B, we got this in between. Okay, right here, right now, in this moment is the present. Okay, I'm speaking to you in this present moment as we speak, and I'm aware of this. I'm constantly aware of it. I know that this moment exists because I could feel the presence of something greater and something that I am with it, right? But then the next moment comes, and all the next moment is the present. Okay, it's becoming that. Now, I can choose to stay in the past if I wanted to. All the what ifs, Well, I could have done this, I could have done that, right? All the possibilities. But I can't change that. Now I can look to the future and I can see all the possible probabilities, right? The ultimate outcomes. But the thing is, though, is I know one thing for sure is that one day I will pass. I will leave this earth, right? So, what's the ultimate outcome of all those possibilities? It all leads to one truth: death. Okay. Now, I'm not trying to speak in terms of like any kind of scare tactic or anything like that. I'm just speaking reality as far as what's helped me out. Okay. Understanding how to surrender, how to trust this process. Okay. So if I know I've come for something greater, right? We could call it God, call it the universe, whatever you want to put that term as. Then I know I must go back to it, right? So what is my existence here in the present moment? What is it here for? Well, one, I want to experience life. I want to be able to experience the joys in life. But how do you do that? How do you trust that that will happen all the time? Does it come that easy? It don't. Sorry to tell you, it don't. But you're suffering. What you're going through right now, you're suffering, is what gives birth to that joy. That's why shadow work's important. Okay, shadow work's important because you learn how to deal with things. You take it from the beginning stage to the end stage, from birth to death, to surrender it, to trust the process, to trust that everything you're doing is for its divine purpose, divine reason. Even where you're at right now, all the mistakes you made, all the choices you made, all the good things you've done, it's all for its divine purpose. Because all roads come to one end. Okay? You know, there's something biblically that says that all knees shall bow and all tongues shall confess, right? So with that being said is, what are we really here for? All roads lead to one direction. We go back to source. We go back to the Almighty. We go back to God. We go back to the universe. Like I said, I'm not here to put titles on anything you believe in or anything like that. That's not my job. My job is not to make you believe the way I believe. I'm not trying to make you like me. There's only room enough in this world for me, right? One of me, should I say. Just like there's only room in this world for only one of you. Who are you? Now, I had this whole thing planned out, like what I wanted to really talk about and all this stuff, but I think it's just best to kind of just go with it, you know? Because the more I get in my head, the more I miss um, the big picture of what I'm trying to say or trying to push out there. But the truth is, man, is that at the right time, at the right moment, at the right place, the right people will show up in your life. Excuse me. And you got to believe that. You got to trust that. You got to trust the process. You got to trust that everything you're going through right now in this moment is for its divine reason. You got to trust that you're here for a reason. To experience life. The ultimate goal for me is to learn to love Each and every one of you unconditionally. Okay? And that's hard. Don't get me wrong, that's hard. It's a daily battle, especially with myself. Belief systems, they have a way of jeopardizing that. Okay? What I mean by that? Well, because one, I'm Hispanic, okay? Two, I grew up in the hood. Three, my raising, you know what I'm saying? I grew up in a Roman Catholic Christian church, right? So, on all aspects. And I also tampered with the darker side of things, okay? So it's so many things that allow me to believe the way I believed to this day, okay? I don't have it all figured out. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. But see, society has a way of making you a version of what it reflects, okay? If you're around violence, you become a violent person. It's just the way it is. If you're around people who help people, then you're kind of more giving than others. Don't get me wrong. I have a beautiful family, man. My mom and dad, they're good people. They didn't raise me wrong. It's just the environment we grew up around was different. It was more influencing, should I say. See, in black and white, my name doesn't look good because my background. Okay, like I mentioned before in my last video, is I've been in prison twice. You know, I have violent cases on my file of drugs, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And in the end, though, it's not who I am. I'm more than what that black and white says. As you can see, is I'm trying to get the message out. I'm still new to this, but I'm trying. Now, where do I go from here? There comes a point to where you gotta trust that everything that you've learned, everything that you've been doing, the routine, the deprogramming, the whole process is building you for the upgrade, the better version of yourself. There's multiple levels of this, you know. You're constantly learning, you're constantly evolving, you're constantly adapting to everything, right? But you gotta learn how to remove yourself to do that. You gotta learn how to remove your identities, your personalities, to become your true self, to become who you really are. Now, I don't know everything you've been through. Like I said, I'm not trying to convert anybody to believe the way I believe. I just want to help. That's it. Just do my part. That's all I need to do. And these videos right now are mostly practice, should I say, for the bigger picture. It's getting me out there to learn how to, one, talk on the camera, two, learn how to edit and all this stuff. You know, like I said, I'm not really used to this, and I'll figure it out though. I'll figure it out. The right people at the right time will always show up. I have a lot to say, a lot to say. But right now, this is all I gotta say is trust the process. Trust it. Don't give in. Don't give up. Just trust the process. Just move with it. Okay, just move with it. One day at a time. You got this. All right. With that, God bless. Love and light.